Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach preseason discussions, and it's going to be the part 2 of week 1 of the trials. We're going to go through the rest of the teams, and I'll give you my opinions on any notable players that I kept an eye on. So let's not dilly-dally around. We'll go straight into it. So we just finished the night. So Panthers. Didn't have to see any Panthers plays. It was beautiful, of course. No, it is funny that they're not playing in any of the trials, obviously, other than the World Club Challenge. But I'll move on to the Rabbitohs. So not anything really to talk about in the dummy half department, other than Mamazoulis apparently is like there's a pretty big indication that he is going to be on the bench for the Rabbits, which probably spells potentially bad news for Damien Cook, if anyone was considering Cook. But, regardless, we didn't get to see too much there. The front row, as you go down here, there wasn't too much to glean, honestly. I mean, Jai Arrow obviously started on the edge. They did have they're pretty strong for. Actually, there is a little bit to talk about. So Jai Arrow, not much to say with Arrow. Like, I am somewhat keen on him in front row if he's going to play big minutes in the back row and potentially switching to the middle. But because of trials and not really playing big minutes, we really got no idea of the minutes that's going to get shared, because Cameron Murray only played maybe played 40 minutes, maybe a bit extra, but usually Murray would play more minutes, so Arrow might have played, I don't know how many minutes he played, but we didn't get a good grasp of obviously what the rotation will look like with like Tallis Duncan and the like, so not too much to glean, unfortunately. Tavita Totola was another watch. Honestly, wasn't too impressed with Totola. I mean, again, it's dependent on minutes at 430k. If he can just punch out some big minutes, it would be nice. But the next guy, Sean Kepi, was actually very good. Now, this is one of those ones where I feel like it might be a little overinflated, because he actually played pretty good minutes, and his stats were pretty darn good. He looked good as well. I got to be honest, I've always been a pretty decent fan of Kepi at Manly. I always thought he was pretty solid. He's a guy with a few errors, a few penalties, but I thought he was a good signing for the Rabbits. And 385k, I don't know. The front row is just so fucking. I'm still not sure what I want to do with the front row. It just, again, it depends. If Kepi, if he gets the starting spot, instead of going to Tola, you could go 50k less and go with a Kepi. I mean, it's like quite a bit cheaper than Jai Arrow as well, so I don't hate it. I mean, Shaq Mitchell was also pretty good in the All-Stars, but just with they do seem to have like quite a few middles now, and also just potential guys to take minutes. So I'm not a huge fan of Shaq Mitchell this year. I don't see him getting big minutes. Davey Moali he looked pretty strong when he came on, but again, I'm worried about minutes. I can't see him playing big minutes again, which is like, you sort of felt like potentially this year was going to be his increase, but I don't know. Is it going to be? Probably not. We're just, again, Saluka Fafita, Shaq Mitchell, Sean Kepi, Totola, Burgess, Arrow is on the edge, but he could play through the middle. You got Tallis Duncan, you got Cameron Murray. Like, there's so many. We'll go to the second rowers here. As we talked about Cameron Murray, again, we didn't see him play big minutes, but I mean, I wouldn't mind starting with Cameron Murray just because I do think he's undervalued and I'm expecting big minutes, but it's just, there's so many. I guess that's the thing with a lot of these mid-range second rowers starting to get a little bit iffy. Maybe you do have to spend up and get someone like a Murray for a bit of safety. I don't hate it. Kalamatangi is an interesting one because he switched to the left-hand side and Jai Arrow was on the right. So that is, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how it affects Kalamatangi. I mean, he's a monster, he's a beast, so it probably doesn't change too much, but he was getting such good ball on the right-hand side. And it's funny because the left-hand side obviously is the Rabbitohs' strength. Like, it's where they just attack most fluidly, but it's probably more so out the back. Like, the back rower on the left-hand side never really saw much footy, so does Kalamatangi going on the left-hand side change up the way they play? Does he get better opportunities with oppositions looking more at the back? I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting watch with Kalamatangi and Arrow to see if they stay on those sides, but we'll see. Arrow we talked about. I guess okay. So I didn't realize, but yeah, Kepi's actually dual 2RF and front row, which also is Jai Arrow. So you can have a couple of duels, which is nice. Tallis Duncan didn't get many minutes at all, so not great signs. Again, the trials don't really show much, but yeah, he's very popular, but I don't know. I guess if he gets like 30 odd minutes, he's not going to be a terrible pickup, but he's not going to make a whole lot of cash. Tallis Duncan. Halfbacks, don't think there's anything really to talk about. No. Lachlan Ilias is 420. I know he didn't have a great season, but I feel like, what did he start at? I feel like he started at a pretty high price last year, right? I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, I guess not. He wavered in 2022. Well, last year I should say, 2023. He was sort of up and around 400k. He got up a little bit, but yeah, not too much. I mean, I'm definitely not going Lachlan Ilias. 5'8", nothing really to talk about. No Cody Walker. Jai Gray, so the youngster that had a lot of talent. He's actually only 5'8", so I mean he's not gonna get into the team, but looked like a very good young talent coming through. Centre wing. What was doing in the centre wing? I gotta sort of jog the memory here. Obviously no Graham Johnston. Obviously not going to start with Johnston. Isaiah Tass is probably going to keep the Campbell Graham centre spot with him being out injured, but I guess Jack Wyden is out suspended as well, so there's like 2 centre spots open. I mean, Tass is going to get one, and then it depends who gets the other one. But yeah, nothing really else to say. Just, yeah, I don't know. The Rabbits, they, I thought I was going to be, well, I don't know. I guess I wasn't that keen on any of the Rabbitohs guys first off. I mean, Latrell Mitchell, gotta be honest, I wasn't that impressed with him in the All-Stars game. I thought, you know, in the Indigenous side, I feel like that's a good, like, not necessarily a good barometer, but you should be seeing Latrell be pretty involved. And I mean, he was somewhat, not really though. Like, I was expecting a bit more in that Indigenous game from Latrell. He was fine, but I don't know. Watching him, I was like, ugh. Not much has changed. I don't really like. I was half tempted to start with Latrell this year, but I don't know. That game sort of put me off him, so I couldn't see myself taking the risk there. Move on to the Raiders, which are actually a very Supercoach relevant side. It's fucking, again, there's just so many moving pieces. So Danny Levi was a watch. He was solid. Again, the minutes, it's hard to really grasp, but if he gets the starting spot at 238k, it's going to be hard not to go him with the fact Jaden Brayley is going to be missing the start. Obviously, it depends what Eels player gets the start as well. If you want to go 2 cheapies, or if you want to go with one of the Eels over Levi. But other than these two, other than an Eels dummy half or Levi, there's not too much in the cheapie range. There's a few middies, but yeah, Levi at 240k. Like, he just has to get like 40 to 50 minutes, and he's gonna make. It'll be a slow burn, but at least he'll make cash. Obviously, Tom Starling and Zach Wolford there is not great because Ricky Stewart could drop Levi in a week, and then fucking Wolford will start Starling on the bench. So it just depends who gets the starting role in round one, really. Front row forward, there's one guy. Joe Tarpany. I mean, I know he scored the try. He did score the try. That's not the reason I'm like, oh my God, I'm so keen on him now. But he just looks so damn good. He's, I don't want to say he's underused because he plays decent minutes, but I feel like he could play more, right? He could definitely play more. How did he start the season last year? I obviously had him for, I think, the whole season. If I'm not mistaken, I might have traded him out. No, I think I had him for the whole season, but he started fine. I mean, the minutes are actually not great. He 47, 46, he punched out 64, 63, 67. I mean, that's a pretty good start. He actually came in more expensive too. He came in at 700k, which is a little bit more expensive. The minutes were just sort of hovering around that. He had a couple of bigger ones, like 68, 73, but that was very rare to get the bigger minutes. He's so damn good. And I guess the one thing I was keen from Tarpany at the start as well, as probably the only guy I'm really considering for like a premium front row option. And the reason is Corey Horsburgh is out, which, I mean, they still have forwards obviously, but I feel like with Horsburgh out, you need someone like Tarpany playing big minutes. I feel like he's going to start the season strong, but I don't know. Again, when I balance the team out, if I can afford to get Tarpany while still having a team I'm happy with, then I would love to get him in. But if not, then again, looking at his scores, he's not a guy that's going to hurt you. So it's like, is it really worth going up to Tarpany if he's only punching out 60s and the odd 70? But then on the flip side is that he scored so few tries last year. And I mean, again, I don't want to just say, oh, he scored a try in the All-Stars, he's on for a big year. But he is a guy, he's a fucking try scorer. So you feel like any year he could punch out like almost 10 tries a year. Like, he is that type of front rower. You know, Phil Blake did it last year. Tino scored a bunch of tries. Like, surely Tarpany is due for a few more this year, which will bump up his average a lot. But we'll see. Emre Guli's 400. Sami Solo. It's pretty good. Ada Mariota is sensational, but probably just not going to get the minutes. I think he's such a good player, dude. I don't know if he even gets a spot in the 17, but damn, he's a damn good forward, Mariota. So we'll see, but not too much else with the Raiders props. Back row options. I don't think we really saw too much from the Raiders. Who was even playing? We didn't see Smithies. He should be playing this week. Trey Mooney was pretty good, but again, I wouldn't expect minutes from him. And yeah, there wasn't too much else to really talk about with the back row. Halfbacks, no, we're not going to even look. 5'8". So the big one here is KO Weeks, and I guess Ethan. No, we'll talk about Ethan Strange in the centre wing. I mean, I guess you could pick him up at 5'8" as well, but we'll talk about him in the centre wing. But KO Weeks actually looked pretty good. He was pretty involved. He was taking the line on. Yeah, I thought he was solid enough to get the spot, and I would be a little surprised. Fuck, I just don't know. Oh, it's just annoying that Fogarty wasn't there for first week. Hopefully, Fogarty is there for the second trials, so we actually see what the halves pairing would look like. By the time this video goes up, probably team lists have already been out, but we'll see. But yeah, KO Weeks, he looked good. I was pretty impressed. I don't think he's going to be an absolute slam dunk, but he does have the game for Supercoach. Like, he is a good ball carrier, and he just needs a few attacking stats early on if he gets the spot. Then the center wing, which is very fuck. Oh, there's so many moving parts here. So I mean, we'll go past these guys. You got Xavier Savage, who was on the wing. He didn't get too involved, but he just looks the goods. Like, I know he got run down by Sean Russell. That was a bit of magic from the first trials. Like, Savage was fucking motoring, and then Russell very quick rounding him up. It was a good little moment, but Savage was good. I was pretty impressed. Ricky Stewart doesn't like Savage though. It seems. I don't know. It's so up in the air, and the fact that Chris is suspended till he's suspended till round 2, so we get one game, and then Chris is back, and he could take any of the spots. Like, is he going to play fullback? Is he going to play center? Is he going to play wing? Fucking, you don't know. James Schiller. So I was interested to see James Schiller is coming in at 240k, so he's very cheap. I thought he played a few more games last year, but no, he's still very cheap. He looked very good. He looked very strong, and he looked strong last year when he got his chance, but does he keep his spot? Then we have Ethan Strange, who, like, it was a bit of a bombshell that he was playing halfback, which is probably not good. Like, the fact he was playing halfback, it sort of leads me to believe that he's not going to be there round 1. Like, what? Like, obviously, if Fogarty is fit, it's going to be Fogarty, and, like, you would expect Weeks. Like, maybe if Strange kills it and Weeks struggles, then Strange potentially would pip Weeks for the 5'8" spot, but it seems weird. And I thought Weeks was pretty good in the first week, so I don't expect that. And then it would be very strange if he played halfback and then all of a sudden he plays center for round 1. We're not trialing there, so I think Strange is probably a guy that he's not going to be picked, which is probably good in a way. That it just takes one of the pieces out of play. And then Chevy Stewart was okay. I think I wasn't blown away. I still think Savage is the I still fucking think Savage is the best fullback they have in that team, but again, Chevy Stewart is obviously a good young talent, but fuck, I don't understand. But we will see. Trial 2 will give another idea, I guess, if anyone sort of knocks the door down, playing great footy or any other changes to the team, we'll find out. And then fullbacks, obviously nothing really doing there. Where the hell? Yeah, it's just Chevy. It's all the guys. Yeah, I guess they're all dual. We'll move on to the Roosters. So we'll start in fullbacks. James Tedesco. I gotta be honest. It was they were playing a very weakened team, and I gotta be honest. I was not impressed by the Roosters really at all. There was a couple of players that impressed me, but overall I wasn't impressed. But Tedesco was one of the guys. I was watching him, and I'm like, fuck, dude, he's starting to tempt me a little bit. At 700k, like, you can save. I can see him right now, Tommy Trbojevic. I guess it's only saving 100k, which is a lot, but I don't know. I mean, Tedesco looked good, but that's sort of what obviously against a weakened team, Tedesco looks like a fucking world beater, right? So I don't want to get too fucking caught up in it. Like, you might say, oh, he looks a little quicker or he looked a little fitter. No, I think he looked pretty much like he always does. Like, he was bumping around, he was bouncing out of tackles. Like, he was doing what Tedesco does. So I don't think it was anything too different, but it did pique my interest when I was watching him. I'm like, man, you just get safety with Tedesco. Because if we look at last year, yeah, he didn't do well, did he? Even to start, like 51, 55, 60. It's not the worst, but it's not great. Then he had a bye, then 22. Then he missed the Storm. Oh, yeah, obviously got... did he get a concussion there, probably? Then 42. He just fucking struggled, man. Like, he did come home strong. 134... 34 against the Bronx, but the Bronx were killing it. 71, 63, 125, and then 83. Like, he came home with a wet sail for sure. And he started last year at 840. So it's not like he had 1 year that was very much down. I wouldn't be shocked to see him bounce back. What has he got? I think it's a tough draw. Like, they got Broncos, Manly, South, Penrith. And then it's a pretty good draw after that, but yeah, you probably couldn't. I probably wouldn't. Centre wing is also interesting. Where is... There's so many centre wings. So Joey Manu, I mean, you know what you're going to get. He came off the bench, it's fine. Dom Young, so this... in a way, it sort of solves the Roosters' issues because they had an issue of who gets the spot. Like, I don't know what he was going to do, and I don't know what he's going to do when Dom Young comes back, because you would expect Dom Young is obviously going to get selected. They spent big money getting him over, so he's going to be one winger. And then, I mean, Daniel Tupou was fantastic. Tupou was great, so you would think Daniel Tupou, Dom Young on the wings, and then Joey Manu is obviously one centre, and then it's out of Joey Suoli'i and Billy Smith, and as much as Billy Smith is probably the better centre, like, it's going to be Suoli'i, right? Like, I don't know. But now with Dom Young out, does that mean Suoli'i on the wing and Billy Smith just stays in the centres? That's what I would expect. I mean, none of these guys are really pickups, I guess. I mean, Daniel Tupou could be a sneaky pod. You know, if he gets back to some try-scoring form. But again, they got a really tough draw. Like, I'm not that keen. Billy Smith, he's expensive, $550K. And then there's no real cheapie. So the centre wing, there's no one really I'm that keen on. I mean, Joey Manu, $650K. But, yeah, tough draw. And also playing in the centres, I'm not too excited by. 5'8", I mean, Luke Keary, but... yeah, not that keen on Keary. Sammy Walker at halfback. Again, I mean, I can't see myself not going the two big boys up top. Like, I just don't see it. Sam Walker, I don't think is a terrible option if you're not going one of the high guys. But if the Roosters just had a pretty easy draw to start, or at least like on paper, like a good draw, I would be so much more tempted to fade a Cleary for Walker to save a few $100K and for a potential upside to start the season. But it's just a tough draw. It doesn't ring like it's going to really favour it. Second row forward is a very important one as well, and we really didn't get much to go. I mean, the only one, Sitili Tupanua, was the starter, and he looked pretty good. I think he played through the middle for a little bit as well, but he looked strong. There was he looked fit. He looked fresh. A couple of years ago, top form. He's coming at $400K. I mean, again, it just depends who gets the start, really. Angus Crichton came off the bench and had a bit of a shocker. Like, he tried hard, but he came up with some bad errors and didn't have one of his best games, I would say. Sia Wong, everyone's very high on Sia Wong. He didn't play many minutes at all. He was sort of like the third string guy because Tupanua started, Angus Crichton came on, and then Sia Wong came on late in the game. So I don't know what it means. Does that mean he was trying to keep Sia Wong fresh for round one, or is that actually how he's sort of the pecking order is at the moment? I don't know. And then Nat Butcher was on the other edge. Like, Egan Butcher did play through the middle, so that's sort of one guy. I guess don't worry about, but I don't know. Oh, this is fuck. He's 370k. Okay, okay. We'll talk about him in hooker. Actually, we'll talk about him in hooker. Connor Watson. I was very keen to see his price because for some reason I thought he was like in the 400s, but Connor Watson. But yeah, the second row. I don't know. It just depends. It just depends who gets the spot. Really, I mean, Tupanua, I don't hate. He's a guy with low base but good upside. So if he gets one of the edges and fucking yeah, I think you just start with the guy who gets the spot and then hope that they play good minutes. That's all it really comes down to. The front row forwards, also interesting because, I mean, we didn't see Spencer Leniu, obviously, but Terrell May didn't even start in the trials, which is very interesting. This is why I'm confused about the pecking order, because you would think in a trial without Leniu, without Hargraves, that Terrell May is like one of their best. Obviously, Collins played as well, but you would have thought that Terrell May would have started. But is this one of those moments where he was like, okay, Terrell May is up the order, but we're not gonna play as many minutes. But then you get Lindsay Collins, who played pretty big minutes starting. So I don't know. It threw me off. The fucking Roosters bloody fucking way they did it in that first trial really threw me off, and how I thought they would, I guess, use their forwards, because the way it seemed is that, okay, Terrell May is sort of down the pecking order now as well, which is very strange to me. I don't know. I know he sort of talked about not necessarily wanting out of the Roosters, but he was sort of also like, he doesn't mind if he signs somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe the Roosters got the idea, but yeah, 430k. I don't know. I don't think I could risk it, because even if he gets a start in round 1, like Hargraves is going to be suspended, he'll be back for round 2. So yeah, we'll see. The hookers. Let's talk about the hookers. Oh baby. So Brandon Smith actually looked good as well, but the man I'm fucking keen on is Connor Watson. He just looked really fucking good, right? And at 375, that is a very juicy price. Very juicy price, because like Watson will 100% be on the bench. He's not going to start, but that's honestly pretty fine, because like Watson is too good a player. If he's fully fit and firing, he is too good not to be playing at least 40 minutes. And he could play some pretty big minutes off the bench, because he's as good at dummy half as he is at lock. So my thinking is that Brandon Smith gets a spell, Connor Watson goes out and plays dummy half for a bit, and then Victor Radley gets a spell, because I don't think Radley should be playing 80 minutes. I don't know. Actually, let's have a look. What did Radley play last year? I've honestly never really looked at Radley's minutes. Obviously he gets suspended a lot, so that might fucking skew it a bit, but is he typically a what's it called? 80 minute? I don't think so. If it loads. What's he playing? Fuck, it's all over the place. It's fucking all over the place, dude. Oh my god. Is he usually 80 minutes then? Like 70, but that's probably with a sin bin, right? He played 31, 77, 68, 76, 70, 68, 78, 80, 56. Then he had a bit of layoff. 72, 80, 80, 80. Fuck, maybe does he play 80 usually if he's not suspended, sin binned? Because if he didn't, then that makes Connor Watson even better, because I feel like Connor Watson going into the middle, like, fuck, the way I would do it is, yeah, bring Watson on after Smith has played, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, depending how hard Smith goes and if he's gassed. Bring Watson on, change the game, just get in and fucking, like, he's got a fucking great PPM, just so dangerous, and then give Victor Radley a spell, and, you know, you could use either. Brandon Smith could come back on through the middle, or Brandon Smith comes back on dummy half and Watson goes to lock. God, that could be so good. Oh, it could be so damn good. I honestly wouldn't hate taking a punt on Connor Watson. It's just a matter of like, yeah, I don't hate it. Like if I was going like a cheapie and then Connor Watson, like two sort of cheapie guys, I would take the punt on Watson because he didn't play. Yeah, didn't play at all last year. That's right. He was coming in at 550k. I mean, that was obviously. I remember looking at his stats before. This is obviously at the Knights. Did he? Fuck, I can't even remember. But like, his minutes don't have to be big. Like 44 minutes, 77 points. He can play big minutes. Obviously, the scores. He's not always going to have a line break and a try, but he's that type of guy. He is that type of guy. 52 minutes, 36, but that's against Penrith. 46 minutes, 73. 48, 51. 44, 47, 44, 46. Like, it's pretty damn good. And the Roosters, obviously, I think, compared to the Knights forward pack from back then, I think is stronger. So he should get more opportunities in that Roosters team to get on the front foot. So, fuck, I got to be honest, I'm pretty keen on Connor Watson. He might be one guy I do take a bit of a punt on. He'll be a super pod. I'm surprised fucking 2% of people have him, which is a little disappointing. I wish he was like more of a super pod. But I think the fact that he'll be on the bench will scare most people off. And, you know, he might only average like 40, so he's not actually that valuable. But, fuck, I don't mind it. I don't mind him, actually, as a cheaper option. We'll go down the Manly boys. Not much to say with the dummy halves. Obviously, you had that Humphreys who played at dummy half for a bit. He must be in the halves on Supercoach. Gordon, Chan Kum Tong. He must be, I don't know. Did he not play? I don't think he even played. He might have came on late in that game, but it seemed like Humphreys had the nod over him, and then Carl Lawton. They're not going to play big minutes. I mean, Lachlan Croker is a big minute dummy half, so it's fine. Front row. What do we have in the front row for the Manly boys? I mean, Paseka did what he does. Toff Sipley, obviously, is going to be suspended now with that pretty poor crusher, unfortunately. And then we didn't really see too much else from the rest of the boys. Back row. What have we got in the back row department? So I know Ben Condon got the start, but obviously he's just a placeholder for Olekuatu. Carl Lawton, he's dual to our hooker. I guess that's handy. And then the big one is Ben Trbojevic. Obviously, if you're going to get him, you get him in centre wing. But it seems like, he could be a potential fucking trap, dude. Because I think Schuster is now out for round one, which it probably means Ben Trbojevic is locked in for that starting round one spot. But, like, I don't know. I mean, if he plays well enough, like, maybe they just keep Schuster on the bench and they bring him on through the middle. That could happen. If Trbojevic plays good enough, then he could keep the spot, but we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, if he is picked as a starting back rower, you just have to pick him in centre wing. I think he could be a trap, or a bit of an AE nightmare, but you just have to take that risk, really. Halfbacks, is this where Humphreys is? Yeah, there's Jamie Humphreys. A good young player, that's for sure. Look very good. People are fucking keen on Luke Brooks. 11% of people are going Brooks, dude. I mean, I don't know, in 5'8". We'll look at him in 5'8". Fuck, I don't know. Is it? Like, I gotta be honest, I'm not totally against it. The big caveat here is that if Tom Trbojevic stays fit, then I do think there is pretty good value for Luke Brooks, because he's always had pretty good base stats, and playing in a team with Trbojevic firing, it just increases like all of the attacking players by a decent amount, because he's just so dangerous. So I don't hate it, but I don't know. 11%. Like, if he was like a super pod, then I could understand it. But like, he's not even really a super pod anyway. He's not even really a pod at 11%. Center wing. So, what did we see? Jackson Paulo actually looked pretty good. Seems like he's going to get the wing spot. I mean, Ray Vega actually, I do like Ray Vega. He's a bit of a madman, but he's very fun to watch. Tommy Talau, I mean, Talau looked a lot smaller. I don't know if he's just a lot fitter. He looked a lot smaller in the Manly jersey for whatever reason, but I thought he was pretty good. But I mean, it'll be Ruben Garrick and Kohler in the centres, and then Saab and Paulo. I mean, Paulo at 470k, again, like I talked about with Trebojevic, I don't hate. I definitely don't hate like a winger for Manly. And I guess if Garrick's in the centres, then Paulo takes Garrick's spot. And Garrick, obviously the goal kicking was the big benefit for Garrick, but you're picking up a Garrick potentially at 470k without goal kicking with Trebojevic. Is that worth it? I don't know. Paulo's obviously not as good as Garrick, but he's not bad. I think Paulo's got a decent amount to give. He can find himself out of a bit of confidence, but he is a good player. Paulo. I think he can turn it around this year at Manly. And then fullbacks, I mean, nothing else to really say. Tommy Trbojevic. He's going to be pretty much sight unseen. We won't see him in the trials. We'll only see him if you're going to take the punt and go with him round one. So at the moment, I'm taking that punt, but we will see how that pans out. Yeah, we'll see. Going to the Sharkies. So, I mean, we saw a lot of these cheapy guys have a crack, and they were not very good. I'm sorry, the Sharks were pretty disappointing. Like, quite a few of these guys had a chance to really sort of stamp their name, but I was lacking with all. I mean, Daniel Atkinson was okay at times. Kate Dykes was fine. Kale Ero was... everyone was hoping for Ero to go gangbusters, but, I mean, I gotta be honest, like, he fucking didn't do anything. I really don't remember watching him fucking do anything at all. Like, I know the Sharks were pretty poor and they didn't use him well, but like, it's your crack in the trials. Like, fucking get in the mix and have some runs, mate. Like, I don't know. I was disappointed. I wasn't expecting Ero to get the spot over Talakai anyway, because I think Talakai's been pretty good at centre for the Sharkies for a couple of years. So it would have taken something pretty special, and not too much came from it, honestly. I mean, Ero's a guy for the future for sure. Like, I do think he will come in at some point, but yeah, he's definitely not going to start. Well, I'd be shocked if he did, that's for sure. Centre wing, I mean, we pretty much went over them all. No one else to really touch on. I mean, we didn't see Sione Katoa, but 500k Katoa, that's very cheap. I'm still half tempted by a Sione. I'm still half tempted by a Sione bounce back year. Don't hate it. 5'8", so Brain Trindle. A fair few people are jumping on the Trindle bandwagon now. I don't know. I mean, am I more like Luke Brooks or Braden Trindle? Who am I? I gotta be honest. I'm probably. I mean, he's over 100k more. I'd probably say Trindle then, because he's quite a bit cheaper. But I don't know. Like, he had a man of the match performance in that All-Stars game, but really he didn't score that well. Like, what's his face? Fucking Nico Hines just takes so much of the football that Trindle's gonna have the odd game where he scores a try or he sets a couple up, but I don't really see him averaging much more than 45, really. Like, he won't have the goal kicking. Nico Hines is going to be the mastermind behind everything. Trindle is a good defender. He does, he takes the line on, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing the upside with Braden Trindle. But again, the 5'8" spot is pretty... If you're not going to go big with Dylan Brown, then... Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit lackluster, all the mid-ranges in my mind. But again, we'll have another look closer to round 1 to see what we like in the 5'8" spot. Halfback, I mean, yeah, we don't need to talk about Nico Hines. He was good. I know a lot of people worried that Trindle might take away from scoring opportunities because he also likes the footy, but I don't know. I think Hines will be fine. I think he will be fine. He might average slightly less potentially, but I'm not too concerned, really. The 2RF for the Sharkies, I don't think there wasn't too much. Obviously, they played a lot of their young guys. Brenton Nickera in the All-Stars, didn't really see too much of him. Teague Wilton, yeah, wasn't that good either in the Sharks in their trial. Coming in expensive as well. Yeah, not too much else. I mean, Calhoun is obviously a good young player, but probably doesn't get the minutes. Front row, there's a couple of interesting guys here. So, the big one being, I mean, Oregon Kafusi actually, 340k. He was good. He was actually really good. I thought he was very disappointing last year. I thought he was going to be a good signing for the Sharks and add a fair bit, but I thought he was very lackluster last year. Started very well. If he gets the spot, because Hamlin Ueli is injured still apparently, if Oregon Kafusi gets the starting spot, I don't hate it. I mean, if we look from last year, what did he even... he obviously didn't do much. He's only 340k. He came in... Yeah, he started 380. He played... I mean, he got injured. He was only playing less than 40. He had a couple of games. I mean, he finished 48 minutes, 53. But the fucking points, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, I don't know. I mean, he obviously had a stop-start year, a lot of injuries. So, I don't know. If he plays in the second trial and impresses, I don't hate it. If he's starting in round 1, 340k, it's not the worst. Tom Hazelton, I love Hazelton, but he's not going to start. That's the problem. I was keen on him, but he's just not going to get the minutes. I just don't see him getting the minutes, unfortunately. And then hooker, nothing really. I mean, they do have a good young hooker in Beryl, but Blake Brayley, for whatever reason, just has the monopoly on the dummy half spot, even though I don't rate Brayley that highly. I think Beryl is a very good dummy half, but that's fine. Then we have the Melbourne Storm. So, dummy half, nothing to talk about there. Front row forward. What did we have in the front row? Nothing. Nothing really. Yeah, nothing to do in the front row. Second row forward, there's a little bit to talk about. So, another spinner in the works could be the fact that Sean Bloor wasn't playing in the trial. Trent Liero did play through the middle, which is very nice. So that takes one of the guys, it opens a spot there. Where is he? Jack Howarth actually was pretty solid, I gotta say. And then... where is he? He mustn't be in the second row. He must be in the centre wing. I'm blanking on the name. I'll see it when it comes to the centre wing, but he had the starting second row spot, and he's obviously a cheapie, so... Interesting one. Halfback, yeah, there's nothing to talk about. Halfback, 5'8". It's just Munster and Hughes if you want to spend up. And then centre wing... What's his fucking name? Dude, I'm blanking. Kane Bradley. Got the starting second row spot. So I don't... Again, so he's just centre wing. I thought he'll probably be dual at start of the season if he gets the spot. So he's... he could be so similar to Ben Trebojevic. If you pick both these guys up, starting back rowers... in the centre wing, that seems so juicy, but then all of a sudden he plays 2 games and then Sean Bloor comes in. I mean, if he gets the start, it's how can you not pick him? But I don't know. It's risky, but at the same time, he's a cheapie. It's not that big a risk. I guess he's the only real guy to talk about there. And then fullback, Ryan Papenhuyzen. He looked good. He looked quick. I was very impressed. It was great to see Ryan Pappy back, but he was not goal kicking. So that, if he was goal kicking, I still probably wasn't going to start him, just because I like the idea I had of starting more expensive and then going down to him if he killed it. But with the tough draw, without the goal kicking, I just think it's just not worth the risk starting Ryan Papenhuyzen at that price. But, you could take the gamble, and he could come in and brain. I mean, he was really good. He still scored, he scored a fucking nice try just with pace, and he was involved. He's a damn good player, and it's just great to see him back, but I'm not that keen on him. The fullbacks for the Tigers, fucking Declan Casey. Honestly, a really good signing. Copped a nasty shoulder to the head, a really bad knockout, so disappointing for him. Centre wing, who the Tigers have? Kepa Owa, he actually started in the back row. He obviously won't keep that spot because Bateman and Papali'i, so yeah, don't really factor it in. He's 350k, but he's not going to keep the spot. Obviously, Olam didn't play. None of the big boys played really for the Tigers in their back, so not too much to talk about there. Yeah, I mean, Olam 420k is pretty cheap, but I wouldn't go at 5'8". There's so many. So the big one here, obviously, I mean, Sullivan was actually pretty okay, but 400k, I wouldn't be starting him. Aiden Caesar was not goal kicking, and we'll talk about him in the dummy half spot, but fucking how... I gotta be honest, I am shocked that Caesar wasn't goal kicking. I mean, it must just be because Appy is the long-term player at that team, and he wants to goal kick. Because Caesar is definitely a better goal kicker. Caesar is legitimately a very, very good goal kicker. I know Appy, his stats last year were pretty good. He kicked it 80%, but fuck me dead. Aiden Caesar is 100% a much better goal kicker. So I'm still in a little bit of shock, but without the goal kicking, Caesar is a no-go. I still think he can score okay, but yeah, just not worth it without goal kicking. Finu, Galvin, all the youngsters, you're not going to go. Halfback department, there's no one there. I mean, obviously Sullivan, Caesar. Front row, what have we got? Well, there is second row. I'm getting ahead of myself. So obviously Bateman and Papali'i going to get the spots. I'm still not keen on Papali'i, even though he's 570k. I'm just not keen. I'm not keen on him. Kepa Owa won't get it. Seyfarth is the fucking guy from the clouds. He got the starting lock spot. It is a little nervous because Alex Twile can start at lock. Fonu Polo can start at lock, but I don't know, Benji seems to like Seyfarth. He's a very, just raw player. He just gets through his work. He's no nonsense. He's aggressive. I like a player like Seyfarth starting. And at 320k, fuck, he'd be a nice little pickup in the second row if he's starting at lock, that's for sure. Semi-Finu looked pretty good off the bench. Justin Matamua didn't play, I don't remember seeing him anyway. So I guess he's another guy that could play at lock, but doesn't seem like he's going to. So Seyfarth is definitely the guy to keep an eye on there. Front row forward, who was there potentially? I don't think there was too much. I mean, you got the usual suspects. Stefano, fuck. Is this the year Stefano breaks out and averages 60? I don't know. He's 500k. You probably wouldn't start him. There's no point. Yeah, nothing really doing. And then the dummy halves, the big fucking dummy half one. all of a sudden, Api Coruscant has the goal kicking, 570k. Everybody is going to jump on now, and yeah, it's hard not to. Like, Api, he does have low scores in him because he doesn't have great base and he doesn't necessarily play 80 minutes, but he's got the upside, he's got the attack in him. With the goal kicking, they're not going to score fucking 5 tries a game, but like, oh, it's hard. It's going to be hard not to go him with the goal kicking. We'll see. I'm still not that keen on Api, but I might have to go him, but we'll see how it shapes up. Then we move on to the Titans. So I didn't actually, yeah, that's right. I didn't see this game. Titans v the Dolphins. The only thing... Was there anything I remember people were talking about? Not really. I don't know. They pretty much played all their young kids, and like people were saying their defense was a lot better, which is good, but not too much Supercoach relevance for the Titans. Then the Warriors. So we didn't see Wade Egan, obviously. Front row forwards. I mean, there's not going to be too much changes. They got a lot of depth. But, I mean, Bunty Afa was strong, but he's just not going to get the minutes. Tom Ale was also very strong. He's just under 300k, but again, the Warriors just have guys that play too many minutes, so it's hard to really warrant going one of these cheapy Warriors middle forwards. The back row, yeah, not much is going to change here, honestly. They're all... Yeah, there's not going to be any young guys come in, really. Kurt Capel probably gets a spot with Jackson Ford. Niokore back to the bench, I would imagine. Tohu Harris at lock. Halfback, it's just if you're going to go Sean Johnson. 5'8". What is Metcalf priced at? This is an interesting one. 480k. He looked really good. He looked really good in that game, and he potentially has the spot. 480k. I know he got injured last year. How many games did he actually play? Yeah, he missed a big chunk to start. Fuck, he came in at... He was 250 to start. Yeah, he's one of these guys with upside, but he also has some low scores in him. Fuck, 26 against Titans. Oh my god. Look at the run home he had. Titans, Tigers, Manly, Dragons, Dolphins, 26, 45, 21, 27 didn't play. Fuck me. That's not what you want to see. So, I don't think I could go him. I don't think I could. Like, he did have the 100, but yeah, too many low scores. Too many low scores for a guy almost 500,000. Centre wing. So, bruh. Oh, who was the young before we get to that? I mean, Tuapiki, obviously, he's fullback centre wing actually. So there's big news coming out. Clockstad might not play, but I guess yeah, if you're gonna go Tuapiki, he might get one game and it'll be a bit of a trap. So you probably don't want to go with Tuapiki unless, unfortunately, Clockstad's going to be out for a few weeks. Then fucking yeah, load up. Letiata, I think he's the young guy in the centers. Fuck, I can't pronounce it, man. But he was very strong, and I think it comes down to either him or Rocco Berry to get that center spot. But then the big one to talk about, fucking Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Oh my god, everybody was talking against my boy Roger, right? You can go back to my center wing video, and I was talking up Roger. I was like, this man is going to be back to his best. All of a sudden, the trial plays, and everyone's fucking on him. Everyone's on him. I've seen so many so many creators being like, wow, Roger was actually really good. Now I'm like, fucking, oh, now everyone's on him. I mean, he was already like pretty highly owned because, I mean, just the name, people are going to pick him up, but fuck, he was good. Like, I want to start him, but it's just a matter of if I can afford to get him in. But he was strong, man. Like, obviously playing center, and that was my point from the center wing, is that worst case, Roger is not going to lose money. Like, he's still going to have really good base stats. He's going to be a tackle buster. He might not get to that like 60, 70 average, but he's not going to lose money. That was my point in the center wing. And then that trial, like, he was involved. He did look gassed, but he played big minutes as well. That was also the pleasing part, was that he played a lot of minutes. I don't think he didn't play the full game, but he played pretty close too. And I mean, he didn't lose any of his. He looked bigger. He honestly looked bigger than he used to. Like, he's fucking jacked, but his footwork was still there. His speed, his strength, like, just playing in a Warriors team where their attack is looking really good. That's the other, like, the Warriors weren't this good when Roger was playing a few years ago. Like, people will bring up his stats and say he was fine at fullback, but the Warriors are a better team now than when he was playing at the Warriors. Like, they were good for a while, but they are a much better team now, and I think on the back of that, RTS could do some damage. But fuck, now he's 20%, man. He's fucking 20% owned. He's not even a pod. So, I don't know. Is it... At this point, it's not even worth it. But I don't want people to know. On record, I was fucking keen on Roger before that trial. I was very keen on RTS before that trial came out. So just let the record show. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Did I look at fullbacks? Did I? Fuck, I got so bound up in the RTS talk, I don't even remember. I guess there's nothing really to talk about. I mean, Charnsy's going to be the fullback unless he's out, and then Tuapiki, but Tuapiki would be a bit of a trap unless Clocksad's out for a while. So that's all you really need to know. So that pretty much wraps up week 1 of the trials. I'm keen for team lists and see what week 2 holds. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the preseason content. I'll after week 2 of the trials, obviously I'll make another team and rework it and try to come up with try to nail down something that I'm happy with. But yeah, once we know a bit more about round 1, we'll see how it shapes up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.